morning, Sac City. Welcome into another edition of Pigskin and Pancakes presented by the Sac City Podcast. I am your host, one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron the Mukesiah Mukes. It is a beautiful November 6th morning here in the city with Pigskin and Pancakes coming your way. We are here to help you guys win your fantasy matchups today and win your fantasy championships in the future. We've got start sits, we've got lineup decisions, we've got DFS plays, and so much more. If you are in the chat, please do not be afraid to let us know your comments, your questions about your lineups and what you're going through this morning. Let us help you today. Aaron, how goes it?
It's good. It was a beautiful day. Oh, I need to change this. This was not good. It was a beautiful day yesterday. I was out at UGA Tennessee game of the year. Greatest atmosphere I had been at. I talked to you on the chat about it, but it was a lot of fun. Got to see some NFL stars out there, some legends of the game, and got to watch some good football. So that was fun. Ready for another week 9. Week 9. It's already flying by. Playoffs are almost here. Fantasy football season. Like you said, you got questions, put them in the chat. Let us help you win your matchups. I'm not saying we're great or anything, but I mean, we're pretty great. So let us help you.
Kind of a big deal.
Get some wins.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal. Like that's what we do on this show. Like I said, you have our start sits, we have our DFS plays, we have our live advice for you. If you have questions, chat, we will get to it as soon as we will get to your comments and your lineup decisions here. But let's get into basically the way we do it on the show. If you are new to the show, we have our fantasy shows, the Fantasy Drive at live at 10 a.m. And on those shows, we do our rankings. If you use rankings, shame on you. Go check them out. But now we revisit them and take a look at any changes Aaron has made and dive into the fantasy stock report. All right, it is time to take a look at your running back rankings that you had this past week, Aaron. And one of the players that you had rising up fast is James Conner. James Conner not ranked, obviously injured. I'm not sure that probably went into your decisions on not having James Conner ranked on Tuesday. Now he's active or should be active for the Cardinals game today. You have him at 12 on your running backs. That's a big jump. That's not just throwing him in your rankings, that's having him high as RB1 first game back. What do you like about James Conner this week?
Yeah, that he's playing. It's a great matchup against Seattle. We talk about a team that's defense, but I think James Conner with volume and opportunities on the offensive side of the football are going to give him some opportunities to score points. If you notice, I had Eno Benjamin in my top 24 prior to being notified that James Conner was going to play. So I think that's a big part of this. We're talking about a team that tends to get offensive production from the running back position when they're in the lineup. And I think this week's a good matchup for them. Seattle has a bottom 7 run defense in fantasy points per game. They're allowing nearly 24 fantasy points per game to running back position. I think James Conner can get into the end zone. I think if he's healthy for the entire game and gets a full complement of snaps, you could be looking at a nice solid RB2 today.
It's weird thinking about James Conner coming back and then being that to me is I get the matchup and everything. It's just what do you think that does for Benjamin?
It pushes him down. Like he's going to lose his value. He's going to no longer be a viable fantasy option until we see what kind of workload he's going to get with James Conner on the field. Maybe you could start him in a flex. We have a lot of teams on bye weeks. Not a lot of running back depth. Maybe you can throw him in a flex position in a really good matchup, and he can get you double digits. I don't anticipate a huge day, but maybe he can get a couple of grabs out of the backfield. 3 or 4 catches, 30 yards, and maybe he runs for another 20 or 30 yards, and he can get a double-digit day. But you have to temper your expectations now that James Conner's back because he's probably going to get the red zone looks. He's probably going to get the first crack with the first offense, with the offense, and you're going to be more of a hope and see what happens with Benjamin going forward. I do think he'll be involved, but I'm just not sure how much.
Yeah, let's talk about the flip side of this type of situation here. James Conner, he gets in, he shoots up your board going from 9 to 12. DeAndre Swift becomes active and goes from 10 to 19 on your rankings. What are you seeing in DeAndre Swift this week?
Yeah, there's reports out there that he's going to have a limited role, and I think that's really what it's about. I do think he's one of the more impressive people with the limited role. I think he can still produce with a limited role, but it's going to be harder for him to produce at that RB1 value that we're used to. And I think that's the biggest question mark here is how much is he going to see as far as volume wise? And then you have to think about maybe they're behind in that game against Green Bay. So I do think he has some fantasy value, again, thin at the position this week, but I think it's going to be hard for him to reach his potential of RB1.
Yeah, it's that key to that Detroit Lions offense is Swift and is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Both should be active in the game. The Swift drop was interesting to see. But I do get the wide receivers though. Talk about the Los Angeles Chargers. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. Josh Palmer steps in now as the go-to target for Justin Herbert. What do you see for today?
Well, I opportunities, right? We're talking about a bad pass defense with the Atlanta Falcons. Worst in the league, allowing the most fantasy points to wide receivers in the league. I think that's a big deal. When you talk about an offense that wants to move the football through the air, obviously you have the checkdowns to Austin Eckler, but somebody has to catch the football. And this is really what it's about, is who's going to catch that football. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. Who's next in line? You got Josh Palmer. You got DeAndre Carter. I think those are the guys that are going to step up and mix in a little bit of Gerald Everett there. But I love Josh Palmer. I think that's one of the biggest plays of the day. If you're going to DFS, you're going to smash Josh Palmer today. He's one of those guys you just get in your lineup and you say, look, I can expect probably 15 points from him today because who else are they going to throw the football to? No A.J. Terrell, no Casey Hayward. It's going to be a big day for that Chargers passing game.
Yeah, we talked about when we that matchup was something that isn't getting talked because we talk about the rushing attack for Los Angeles and the defense being bad, and the Falcons rush versus the Chargers rush defense has been the most talked about thing about this matchup. But going under the radar, the lack of corners for the Falcons and good day for the Chargers wide receivers. 3 wide receivers go from not ranked to ranked on your list. Tyler Lockett, Christian Kirk, Garrett Wilson. I want to start with Garrett Wilson here because they have a tough matchup, Buffalo. And he goes to not ranked and then just slips in to wide receiver 24 rankings. That to me seemed like when I think Garrett Wilson, when I think Jets going up to Buffalo, I'm like, I don't know if I want. I think I want to stay away from every player that's on the jar for fantasy, but you have him being a wide receiver too.
Well, number one, you got to realize I removed AJ Brown. I removed Devonta Smith because they played on Thursday. So those guys come off the list. People have to move up. The one thing you're not mentioning about the Buffalo Bills defense is no Jordan Poyer. Tre'Davious White is out. I think that's a big deal for the Buffalo defense. There's been reports this morning talking about Zach Wilson looked good as far as throwing the ball down the field in practice. And I think they're going to try to push the ball down the field against against a defense that they know they're going to have to put up points against. So this might be a sheer volume thing, may just be an opportunity thing for Garrett Wilson. They're probably going to be playing from behind. I think that's going to play a factor in how he's able to get open and stuff like that. But let's remember, this is not the Buffalo Bills with lockdown corners that they've had in the past. Their pass rush is good. By the way, no Matt Milano in this game in the middle of that Buffalo Bills defense. This could be a situation where the Jets are able to do some things offensively. And I think Garrett Wilson is the prime beneficiary of what the Jets offense wants to do. The running game hasn't really worked that well. Breece Hall's obviously out. So I do think Zach Wilson's going to have to throw it around a little bit. And I think Garrett Wilson can crack that top 24.
Okay. So of opportunity and some of these Thursday Night Football players playing, and AJ Devonta Smith, guys like that. Christian Kirk not ranked goes to 20. Lockett not ranked goes to 15. Which one of those players are you most confident in hitting where you have them?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that second part.
which player between Tyler Lockett and Christian Kirk are confident to finish at the you place them at?
Yeah, I'd probably go Tyler Lockett. I think he's been a little bit more consistent lately than Christian Kirk has. He's been kind of up and down, and Geno Smith has been flinging the football around the field. We've known what Seattle's been able to do in this offense. He's had double-digit points basically in every game this year except for one, and that was against Arizona a couple of weeks ago. But I do think he bounces back against Arizona this time, and I think that he can have another good day here. Tyler Lockett is one of the more consistent wide receivers this year. 12th in PPR scoring this year, and I think it's not what we expected, but it's hard to deny. He's done it over week in and week out, and I think that's important. I think Seattle's going to want to throw the football, running off that play action. He's their deep ball threat, and Geno's going to want to take some chances today. So division game, I think he steps up to the plate. I think Tyler Lockett I'm more confident in as far as fitting into that solid wide receiver 2 role, but I do think Christian Kirk has a good day here. It's not a day where I'm thinking Christian Kirk might have a dud. I think the Raiders can be had in the secondary. He's seen the number of targets. The volume is there for Christian Kirk. Outside of a couple of games, he's seeing 7 to 10 targets a game. I think him and Trevor Lawrence can connect, and I think he'll be a solid play as well.
Yeah, and by no means you have both of them at your wide receiver 2 categories. So it's not a one over the other type that could very well have good days against their teams. That does it though for stock report. I think that covers. If you do miss our rankings though, be sure you tune in. Our Tuesday shows live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Get our rankings for the upcoming week. And if you miss, still available on our YouTube page at Sac City Pod. You can always go back and take a look at that. We are going to get into our starts, but before we do that, we have a little bit of in and outs to get in. That's right. It's time to get into actives and inactives for week 9. The technical difficulties going on our show today. This has been a day.
I got it. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, we're good. Let's get into our injury reports, actives and inactives. The early actives, DeAndre Carter, questionable coming into this one. He will be active in Atlanta. We talked about that Atlanta pass defense. I think it's going to be important for them to be able to have as many weapons on the field as possible. So DeAndre Carter gets in there. Jeff Wilson just gets traded to Miami, and he's active against Chicago. Myles Gaskin not playing in this game, so Jeff Wilson will come in, maybe spell Raheem Mostert a little bit. Allen Lazard and Christian Watson both active for Green Bay, so they get some much-needed wide receiver help back. Big time game. James Robinson active. There was questions. He popped up on the injury report with that knee injury. There were questions about whether he was going to play against Buffalo. He is active today. And then DeAndre Swift, as we mentioned, he's active, but is expected to see a limited role. So keep your eye out on how much he's going to actually touch the ball. Still probably a solid RB2 with all the bye weeks. So let's get to our inactives. Darren Waller still not ready to go for the Raiders. He is out. Damian Harris, who was hurt before, then he got sick. He is also out, so it looks like it's Ramondre Stevenson full go. Make sure you fire him up today. Josh Reynolds for Detroit, they lose another weapon. He's out, and Zach Moss is not ready for Indy yet. Just gets traded to Indy. He is not ready to play, so he will be inactive. There's also a bunch of other inactives. Devondre Campbell. We talked about the Chargers receivers. No Keenan Allen, no A.J. Terrell. So that's going to impact that game. Chuba Hubbard for the Carolina Panthers is also inactive. So look for a full slate of Deontay Foreman. Devontae Parker's inactive for New England. We talked about the defense of the Buffalo Bills with Tre'Davious White and Matt Milano and Jordan Poyer all being inactive. Look for the Jets maybe to have a little bit more success offensively than originally thought. And then for the Washington Commanders, you have J.D. McKissick and Jahan Dotson, who are also inactive.
There you have it. I'm trying to change technical things right now, seeing if things sound better. Am I sounding clearer for you?
Yes.
I sound better now?
Yes.
Better than I did before? Okay, weird. Okay.
Yes,
right,
you're not stuttering like saying the same thing 7 times in my ear.
Yeah, that's what it sounds. That's what I was told it sounds like, and I do appreciate Sherm. Shout out Sherm. He sent me a message telling me that my audio sounds like poopy. Not in that fashion, but he did let me know that my audio is messing up. So hopefully now everything is good. We appreciate everyone for sticking around through all of this. What's up?
I have to take this call. Sorry, it's work.
Very important call.
Yes.
Got it. All right, I'll let you take that call. I will go solo for myself here. All right, that does it for inactives. We're about to go into our starts and our sits of the week. And you know what? I will start off with our starts and sits for the week because I love Justin Fields this week. Justin Fields has been taking over lately for the Chicago Bears. He has been a quarterback the past few weeks that has been getting more involved in the rushing attack, getting more involved in the passing game. The Bears are starting to figure out what's working and what isn't working for this team. I really like Justin Fields this week. He's going up against the Miami Dolphins, who, yes, they got Bradley Chubb. Their pass rush should be a little bit better, but it hasn't been that great in the secondary. And I think Justin Fields can figure out a way to make things happen for the Bears.
That's your start?
It isn't. It wasn't my start. I just picked a name out of the hat and said, okay, that's going to be my start. So there you go.
All right. Let's do it. I'm ready. Sorry for that. It was work.
I was not. I'm planning on assisting you in the start sits this week, but I didn't get my start sit. Like,
don't worry.
I just decided that I was going to assist in it. So, all right.
If you need to know who to start, you don't want to ask Vinny anyway. So just type in the chat and I'll help you guys out.
There you go. Aaron, who are you starting this week at the quarterback position?
Yeah, for me, it's Taylor Heinicke. I love this matchup for Taylor Heinicke. No, it's not Carson Wentz, so that's why I love it even more. Talking about a guy that's looked comfortable in this offense. He's been there. He knows the offense. I feel like he can have some success. They're going against Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to be able to put some points on the board. I think Taylor Heinicke could have a good day here. I think he's obviously the main thing is his connection to Terry McLaurin seems to be working out pretty well. Minnesota Vikings don't have that great of a pass defense. They're allowing 20 points to the quarterback position fantasy per game. I think Taylor Heinicke is mobile. He can get some yards on the ground. Maybe he adds 15, 20 rushing yards, get you a couple of extra points there. I can see a nice day here from Taylor Heinicke. If you're looking for streaming options, if your quarterback is on a bye and you're in a one quarterback league, I think Taylor Heinicke can be that guy you go and fill that void with. If you're in a two quarterback league, don't be afraid to throw Taylor Heinicke as your quarterback too, over some guys like Derek Carr. Got matchups like that. Like I'm more bullish on Taylor Heinicke than I would be on a Trevor Lawrence or a Derek Carr or somebody like that. So go out and get some Taylor Heinicke, put him in your lineup, and I think you'll have some success today. Okay.
That's an interesting one. You had Taylor Heinicke, I believe, in your rankings. You have him as top 12 quarterback this week. Yeah, so that's a good day from Taylor Heinicke, especially with bye weeks. I mean, you have a lot of quarterbacks on bye this week with Dak Prescott and who else is on bye? And why am I drawing a blank on every quarterback that's on bye? Daniel Jones is on bye. Not that that matters that much. But yeah, there's some teams, there's some quarterbacks on bye. So Taylor Heinicke is definitely a good fill-in. What about a quarterback sit?
Yeah, my quarterback sit is Joe Burrow. I have Joe Burrow still ranked in my top 10, but I don't love this matchup with Carolina. First of all, I don't love the matchup with the pass rush of a Brian Burns being able to get after Joe Burrow in that offense. We've seen what they did against the Browns. It wasn't super impressive. Carolina has been pretty good against the pass. They're only allowing 16 points per game from the quarterback position. I think that they will be able to run the ball on Carolina, so I think Joe Mixon will have a better day here. But I'm just not – I don't know. There's something about Joe Burrow right now without Jamar Chase that I worry about. You have some good corners there in Carolina. Maybe they can lock down T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd, and only one of them is able to get going. I think Joe Burrow is I think he's a start. Like, I think if you have him, you probably have to start him because you're probably in that situation. But if you have options, and if you had to choose between a guy, a Joe Burrow and I'm trying to think who, and like a Tua Tagovailoa, I'm going Tua. If you had to choose between Joe Burrow and maybe even Taylor Heinicke, I might go Taylor Heinicke. Like, that's just that I'm telling you right now, like, Joe Burrow today could struggle against that Carolina defense. We saw what they did to Tom Brady. And it's not like Joe Burrow is going to be out there running like Marcus Mariota. It's a little bit different than what Marcus Mariota brings to the table. So I just have some sneaky suspicions that Joe Burrow is going to have a little bit of a down day here.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think my start for this week, I like this week as a bounce back week for Aaron Rodgers. going up against the Lions defense. Like, if the Packers can't do good things against the Lions defense on offense, then there's like real, like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is donezo if the Packers can't get it going this week, and I think they do. Aaron Rodgers would be my start of the week. I don't have a sit. I'm going to let you get into your running backs here, though. Who you got for a running back start?
Yeah, I'm not usually one to do this, but I'm going with Cordero Patterson. I know he's just coming off of the injury reserve. I normally don't like starting guys like that coming off injury reserve, but this matchup is so good against the Chargers. You're talking about a rush defense that's just been atrocious, and I don't mean bad in a defense. And I think it's Cordero Patterson is going to be a great start against the Chargers. I don't think there's any way. They're allowing almost 30 points to the running back position. Even if Cordero Patterson doesn't receive a full complement of snaps, I think that he's going to have some success. Maybe you throw in a little bit of Tyler Algier there. I think Cordero Patterson against the Chargers defense is somebody you can feel comfortable sliding right back into your starting lineup and being okay.
What about your sit?
Yeah, my sit, it's all the Rams running backs. It's all of them. It's Darrell Henderson. It's Cam Akers. It's whoever else they got. Every Rams running back, I'm just sitting. I am so fading the Rams running backs. We've talked about the Rams running backs ad nauseum, and I don't think it changes today. I don't know that Darrell Henderson gets enough of a workload to be productive. And then you have now the Cam Akers saga is back in the mix. You have the Bryce Brown, or it's just a lot. It's a lot, right? So I think you just stay away. You just completely stay away from the Rams. If you have Rams running backs, look elsewhere. There's somebody out there that you can pick up or that's playing today that you can play and get more production, or at least feel more confident going into the matchups here in about a half hour.
Although I did not predict the Cam Akers trade me stuff that happened this season, I did at the beginning of the season say that Cam Akers is going to be a bust. And because of this reason, like, this is just, it's just you're not, like, even if you drafted Cam Akers, and there's just certain types of guys that you'll have on your team that you're just never feeling comfortable starting. Like, they could have a great day. But when you make that start decision, you're just not going to feel comfortable doing it. And I don't think you can do that with any of the guys for the Rams running backs. Sherm asks, Tyler Lockett or T. Higgins this week? Tyler Lockett going up against the Arizona Cardinals, and T. Higgins going up against the Carolina Panthers.
I think it's close. I lean Higgins. I think the opportunities might be a little bit more for Higgins. Fighting for targets with Tyler Boyd's a little bit different than fighting for targets with DK Metcalf. Plus, I think Seattle wants to run the football a little bit more. I think Cincinnati's still ultimately going to be a pass-first team. I will take T. Higgins slightly, though. It's not a big difference this week. Normally, I think it would be a bigger difference leaning on the Higgins side, but I think Lockett will do enough to keep it close, but I like Higgins this week.
All right. Running backs. Okay, we did the running back starts. We did the running back sits. Wide receivers. Who you got for your wide receiver start?
Yeah, we mentioned him earlier. It's Josh Palmer for me. A great matchup going against the Atlanta Falcons. Again, the worst secondary in the NFL. And it's not like Josh Palmer hasn't been involved when the other two guys have been there. Palmer's pretty much been involved in that offense all year. He's played that role of that third wide receiver. He's played 70% of the snaps in every game except for one, which was a game that he left against Houston, where he only had the one catch for 25 yards. But last time he was healthy against Denver, he had 12 targets, 9 catches for just 57 yards. But again, guys were out. You have Patrick Surtain was out there. That secondary in Denver is really, really good. I love the volume here. I think the volume for Josh Palmer only increases as we go throughout the season. Again, a great matchup here at Atlanta with no secondary. Again, no Casey Hayward, no A.J. Terrell. The safeties are not good. The Chargers are going to have to throw the football because the Atlanta Falcons should be able to move the football on the Chargers defense. And I think Josh Palmer is lined up for a really, really nice day.
I want to throw in a notable start for me. And I know you said, oh, don't listen to him or whatever, but I like Juju Smith-Schuster this week. As my start, as a start of the week. The past few weeks, he's been dominant. He's now put together back-to-back games where it's double-digit points for Juju Smith-Schuster. Week 7, he had a team high 124 yards. on seven receptions. Like, he's doing great things, and this is what we hope to see one of these wide receivers for the Chiefs start standing out and separating themselves from the rest. And I think Juju Smith-Schuster has been doing that. He's now wide receiver 14 on the season. He's been a great addition for this. Sorry. Read it wrong. 75 yards in 4 of his 7 games, and is now wide receiver 14 since week 3. Wide receiver 14. Sorry, read the stat wrong. Pump the brakes. I apologize. Either way, Juju Smith-Schuster now going up against Tennessee Titans secondary that has not been that great. They've allowed the 6th most points to the wide receiver position this season. Start up your Juju Smith-Schuster.
I'm okay with the Juju start. I'm not okay with saying that I think he's taking over the role.
He's starting to separate. He's starting to separate from everybody.
I don't think so.
Other than Travis Kelce, because you can't separate from Travis Kelce.
I think the touchdowns have helped. I think those numbers come back to. He's good. I think Juju's a good, nice flex play back in wide receiver too. I think it's fine to play him. I'm sorry. What was my question?
Your wide receiver sit.
Oh yeah, my wide receiver sit today. Gabe Davis. Going against the Jets. I know it sounds like I'm picking the Jets in this game with the way I'm talking about the Bills today, but it's Gabe Davis for me. The Jets have been really, really good. And Gabe Davis just hasn't. Gabe Davis hasn't had more than 4 catches in a game, and that was in week 1. He hasn't had more than 3. He's basically had 3 catches or less in every game since week 2. He is a big play guy and very touchdown dependent. The Jets have Sauce Gardner, who I don't think is going to follow Stephon Diggs, but he matches up really well with Gabe Davis, and he's physical. They've had a really good secondary pretty much all season long. I love the matchup here for the Jets. They're only allowing 24 fantasy points per game at the position, and I think this is going to be another good one where it's probably going to be Stephon Diggs because of the talent, and that Gabe Davis, if he doesn't score a touchdown, is going to be irrelevant. So my sit is Gabe Davis. Don't put him in your lineup this week. Go elsewhere.
Wow, that's going to be a tough one for fantasy owners. It's not tough.
He hasn't been good though. He hasn't really been that good. He's wide receiver 37 on the year. He's had a couple of big games, one really big game, and everything else has been hang.
I think that's where it's at. It's like the name value of Gabe Davis, the high-powered offense of the Bills going up against the Jets team that, yes, their defense is great. Their secondary is great. But you just say Bills, Jets, wide receiver, you think it's an automatic great matchup. When you really think about it, it might not be the best for a wide receiver like Gabe Davis. Stephon Diggs will get his, but Gabe Davis will not be there. Tight ends, who you starting?
You'll like this, and I think somebody read my mind as they popped in at the same time. Evan Ingram is my start for the tight end position. Going against the Raiders. The Raiders have been bad versus tight ends, and I think that this is a nice matchup for Evan Ingram here. The Raiders are bottom 3 and allowing almost 15 points per game to the tight end position. Evan Ingram's been good over the past month and a half. I think that he can maybe get an end zone target or 2 today. He'll have some space to work over the middle of the field. That Raiders defense on the back end is not as good as some of the other defenses that the Jaguars have faced. So I think Evan Ingram is a nice play here. I think you can continue to move him up your board and put him in your starting lineup.
Moving him up the board, you have done. You are this past week. You had him, I believe. I can't remember where you had him. I have it in my notes somewhere.
9 to 7, I think it was.
Yeah, you bumped him up 9 to 7 here, and that's. It seems like every week Evan Ingram is that tight end for you that climbs every day as the matchup approaches, and Evan Ingram is a confident start for you. Who are you not confident in the tight end position this week?
We hinted at it earlier this week. It's TJ Hawkinson. Switching teams to Minnesota, I think is tough. You got to learn an offense. But I think the biggest thing here is that Minnesota's offense is predicated through Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. And yes, TJ Hawkinson might get some red zone opportunities. And coach came out and said he's not limited at all. They're throwing the full playbook at him. He's going to play a full complement of snaps. I don't know if I buy that, especially when there's some choice routes that tight ends have to run and blocking schemes that they have to know. So I'm not sure I fully buy into that. But I do think that going to a new team with other weapons there and the comfort level with Kirk Cousins isn't quite up to par yet. I think you can rest okay saying I'm going to go elsewhere, somewhere other than TJ Hawkinson, if you have the option. Now, maybe you just say I don't really have options at tight end, and then you can take the talent. But if you were able to get an Evan Ingram off waivers and you had TJ Hawkinson, I'm starting Evan Ingram. If you were able to get a couple of those other guys that we've been talking about up off of waivers, I'm going to go with those guys instead of TJ Hawkins.
Yeah. All right. Is your alarm going off?
My alarm?
No, that's my mail.
Oh, it's you.
Oh
my goodness. I was like muting Dylan. I thought Dylan came in here and had an alarm going off, and I hear it like very faintly. I'm like, okay, is it someone here? This is my wife's phone. I digress. All right. That's our starts. That's our sits of the week. Welcome Dylan onto the show. Aaron, I'm sure you're very excited to see that. I don't know if you saw the rumor tweet from Ian Rappaport saying the Cowboys are in on Odell Beckham Jr.
Of course they are. Jerry Jones. It's not surprising. It's been said 1,000 times. It's not.
Yeah. All right.
We're going to get him.
Yeah. Dylan, welcome onto the show, buddy. What's up?
Nothing much. Had an apartment inspection, so I wanted to make sure that I was indeed not on the show when that was taking place. And then I just randomly got the beautiful DraftKings invitation from the one Vincent Milani with the hat on that says CBS Sports Today. And I was like, yeah, I should probably draft and kick their ass this week. It's been a while.
Yeah, and by it's been a while, it's been forever because you normally don't kick anybody's ass in DraftKings. But
okay.
But Dylan, I'm gonna hit you here. I'm gonna surprise you, catch you off guard. We don't have an AJ here, but I have a you, and I wanna get personal with you.
Oh shit! Did I do it?
You did it.
Awesome.
You did it. Who's your streaming defense of the week, Dylan?
I'm looking. I got this at 12:31, and I popped on the old fantasy app and checked the waiver wire, and I like one defense this week. And that defense is the Las Vegas Raiders. I know they're
against
bad.
The Jags?
I know they're bad. Yes. Don't hear me out here, right? Trevor Lawrence likes to turn the ball over. Don't shake your head. They get pressure. They're going to put him on his backside a couple times, and all it takes is one defensive score, and I think they're in good shape today.
We have an intruder on the gondola.
They're owned in 6.7%. You can get them in any format.
It's not a terrible. I'm not telling. It's not a terrible pick. It's not. That's not even why I'm saying this. You're doing it because you're trolling your own fan base right now. It's the same way you put out the stupid Trevor Lawrence narrative that you did last week. You're a bitter, salter, stupid ass fan that we despise on this show.
I'm not saying this from a fan standpoint. I looked at the waiver wire and I looked at a team that has a good pass rush that needs to win, and they're going to come into Jacksonville and they're going to play hard.
Both teams played hard.
But I think they can get pressure to the quarterback. I think they can turn the ball over. And I like him.
There's been 4 games this year that Trevor Lawrence has.
Oh, man. He froze.
Hasn't been sacked.
What?
There's been 4 games this year that Trevor Lawrence has not been sacked.
A lot.
Most of his sacks came in 2 games, came against the Colts and came against the Eagles. 4 sacks in both of those games. The only other 2 games he was sacked in, there was 2 sacks in each game. It was week 1 and then last week against Denver. But hey, sure, if you want to have a streaming defense and you want to play the Raiders,
it's a streaming defense, Aaron.
You can't be worse than AJ though, and we'll see if the Raiders defense
true story
make you look good. And if that's the case, we'll just we'll have to continue having you do streaming defenses. If you,
AJ is the worst at streaming defenses.
He is.
He is.
Well, Aaron, I think like 5. He gives you like 5.
He does, and none of them hit. But Aaron, I think you've been better on Sleeper Watch, so let's get into that.
And now for your sleeper of the week.
I'm gonna keep Dylan on the show for this.
Yay.
Put him to sleep like Steph Curry. My sleeper of the week is DeAndre Carter from the Chargers. I talked about the wide receivers for the Chargers being able to exploit an Atlanta Falcons defense that's poor on the back end. DeAndre Carter is going to be a beneficiary of that. I could have went the easy route and said Josh Palmer because I know that's going to happen, but I'm going to go with the other guy. I'm going to go DeAndre Carter, get you double-digit points. I've been hitting these sleepers. I think 3 out of the last 4 weeks I've hit. I had the Kate Otten and all those guys. I think it happens again. Double-digit points for DeAndre Carter in a big way. Go get your sleeper. Pick him up off waivers or whatever. Sign him to a free agent deal. I don't know.
Sign him to a free agent deal. Do whatever you have to do. Fire up your DeAndre Carter in your fantasy leagues for your sleeper of the week. Without further ado, though, Dylan, the reason why you joined the show was to really get into this.
What are you talking about? Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard. Heard what? Brian, don't! Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird, a word, well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird, a word, well, a bird, bird, bird.
It is now time for our DraftKings showdown. This is where we all draft our teams and see who can win. I don't remember who won last week. Aaron, do you know who won?
Yes, you do. I did, because you and AJ didn't put your right teams in.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that was the case. Was that confirmed that you did win?
I won before we even got to Sunday night.
So mathematically, you won.
I won, yes, in a big way. I scored almost 200.
As in math, you what?
I scored almost 200.
And how much did we score?
130 and 150.
I think there's some shady shit going on here, but all right, you get to decide the draft order. What is it today?
I am picking first. Vinny's picking second, and Dylan's picking third.
All righty, let's start it off.
I am taking Josh Palmer.
Oh, there you go.
I told you, listen, Josh Palmer today, go smash him in your DFS tournaments. Just smash him. 5,000 or 5,100. Just smash him in every DFS play. He's going to have a big day here in Atlanta. Justin Herbert. Josh Palmer, number 1 overall pick.
All right. Well, it's a good pick. I am going to stay in the flames with my guy here, and I'm going to get the laughs.
James
Cue laughter.
James Robinson.
If it's not James Robinson, who else could it be, Aaron?
What? It's Kenneth Walker.
Bingo. Ding, ding, ding. I will be taking Kenneth Walker.
Wow. What a guy. I will take my 2. Give me a budget play with Deion Jackson. And also give me Justin Jefferson.
Nice. I will take the guy that I am high on this week, and I will go with Juju Smith-Schuster.
I am taking Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Listen, the duel, the double threat here. I know Seattle's been playing good. They're on the road against Arizona. I think Kyler Murray has a good day here on the ground as well. As you know, throwing to that man D-Hop. James Conner back, maybe he is able to get something going in the running game to keep some drives alive. Give me Kyler Murray and D-Hop.
I will match your stack with the stack of my own, and I will take Patrick Mahomes.
Is it me?
Yeah,
it is you, Vincent.
I will also take a stack.
Whoa. That's just disrespectful.
Huh?
Nothing. I called you Vincent.
Oh, yes. It's accurate. I'm going to go with a stack of my own, and it's also a revenge game. Give me Kirk Cousins at Washington. And after that, I'm also going to play some Aaron Jones in a dome.
Aaron Jones in a dome. All right. I will take I'll take Cordero Patterson.
Cordero.
He's back.
He is back.
He is.
I am taking the Carolina Panthers defense against the Bengals. And this is where I have a hard time right now. This is where I have a hard time. It's
getting tight. It's getting tight.
One. Because I'm debating between no, you know what? I'm going to take Kenyon Drake.
Gross.
Yeah, I don't have any running backs in Baltimore. So
before I make my pick, Aaron, start 2 full PPR. Jacoby Myers, Deshaun Jackson, Rondale Moore.
Deshaun Jackson? No.
He's back in the league.
No, we're not starting Deshaun.
I would hope that D-Jax is DJ. I mean, you could say Deion Jackson would be D-Jax too, right?
I'm assuming it's Deion Jackson, not Deshaun Jackson, Vinny.
Hey, man. I don't know.
Hey, Ravens wide receiver Deshaun Jackson is supposed to play this week.
I'm assuming, please clarify Blade 214, but I'm assuming it's Deion Jackson. And if that's the case, then I am going Rondale Moore and I would take Deion Jackson because of the volume.
Okay, there you go.
I'm
back on the clock.
Stick him on the bench.
If it's Deshaun, he shouldn't be on your roster
until he plays Dallas.
But you could make the argument for Jacoby Myers, I guess. Maybe I'd probably actually let me go back to Blade. I like Jacoby today with no Devontae Parker. I think I would take Jacoby Myers and then Deion Jackson, and I'd probably leave off Rondell Moore today because it's close. But I think the target share for Jacoby Myers is going to be more with no Devontae Parker. You have no Devontae Parker. I believe Nelson Aguilar is still out, if I'm not mistaken, and Kendrick Bourne.
He did mean Deion Jackson.
No Zach Moss. Obviously Jonathan Taylor out. Deion Jackson and Phillip Lindsay are going to be the only two getting touches, and I think Deion Jackson has more value out of the passing game than Phillip Lindsay. I think he gets the first crack and most of the share of targets as well as carries. So give me Jacoby Myers and Deion Jackson.
All right. I am back on the clock. I will take my tight end, and I will go with Big Bob Tunyon.
If I had a sleeper this week, it's Jordan Wilkins. But anyway,
is that on the clock? Yeah.
I'll go Chris Olave, and I'll take Gerald Everett.
I'll take DJ Moore. I traded him away this past week or 2 weeks ago, and he has burned me ever since, and I will try to make myself feel better and get DJ Moore.
Tell him about the ETN in the first trade.
What first trade? What?
First overall pick, or the first round pick, ETN and Lawrence that you made the other day. You idiot.
Oh, yeah, that was a dumb trade.
That was a stupid-ass trade.
I made the stupidest trade, but I'm not going to be in that league anymore, so I don't really care.
Is it my pick now? You guys throwing me off. I just wanted to make sure. I am going to – I was thinking about surprising people here and going Chase Claypool, but I don't love it, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go – ugh. All right, I'm going to take Garrett Wilson. I said I'm going to trust the Jets today. I'm going to take Garrett Wilson. I think with the back end that's being banged up, I think cheap $4,800 Garrett Wilson can give you some nice fantasy production there. DFS play, you got to hope for somebody that's not going to pick him. I think people stay away from him because they're playing the Bills. So I'm going to try to sneak and get some of those points. I'll take Garrett Wilson.
I will take the other. I'll take the opposite side of that. And I'm going to take the Bills defense. I'm going to spend up and take the Bills defense in that game.
You're going to go before I'm done picking my second player?
Oh, well, son of a bitch. Well, you already have your defense, so I'm not too worried to boot it.
Worried to boot it? I'm taking Travis Kelce.
I did a DFS earlier, and I was like, man, I'm stacking Travis Kelce. I'm stacking Patrick Mahomes. I don't give a shit who else is on my team. As long as I have those two dudes, I am fine. Then I will take the Bills defense, and then you can go, Dylan.
I will take Zay Jones and Kadarius Toney. I'll
take Devin Duvernay.
Okay, I've got a lot riding here. I am going to take my last two picks here, right? I'm taking Isaiah McKenzie against the Jets. I think that with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs being locked up on the outside, I like the slot play there for Isaiah McKenzie. And then my last pick, I only got 4,700 left. I'm going to use it all. I'm taking Rachaad White for Tampa.
What a guy.
He's been getting more and more work. Give me some Rachaad White.
Did someone already take Christian Kirk?
No.
Nope.
He is definitely available.
I will take Christian Kirk for my last pick.
Have at it. All right. I only got one pick, right? This ends the draft.
Yep, this ends
the draft. Yep.
I will take the Indianapolis Colts defense.
All righty. Aaron, who do you have for your team? Run it back.
Make sure you guys submit these two when you do it.
I did. I saved it before. I was like, save, and then I'll come back.
So I have Kyler Murray as my quarterback. I have Kenyon Drake as my running back. Rashad White as my other running back. I went value at running back this week. DeAndre Hopkins, Josh Palmer, and Garrett Wilson as my receivers. Travis Kelce at the tight end spot. Isaiah McKenzie as my flex. And Carolina's defense against Cincinnati. You're guaranteed at least 4 sacks. So give me those Panthers against the Bengals. And that's my DFS lineup going for win number 2 in a row.
I have Patrick Mahomes, Cordero Patterson, Kenneth Walker, Devin Duvernay, DJ Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, Big Bob Tunyon, Christian Kirk, and the Bills defense.
I have Kirk Cousins, revenge game. Deion Jackson, Aaron Jones, Chris Olave, Justin Jefferson, Zay Jones, revenge game. Gerald Everett, Kadarius Toney, Colts D.
There you go. That does it for another Pigskin and Pancakes. Good luck to everybody with their matchups this week. We'll be back again live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, recapping all of the Week 9 games and so much more. We'll be back for more fantasy conversations on Tuesday, live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you're not following us, be sure to do that at the Sack City Pod on all of our social media platforms. Best of luck today for, I guess I have to go in order, for Dylan Kearns and my best friend Aaron Mukes. I am me. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace out.
Bye.